All right, so let's carry forward with some simple operations in SeaDAS and make and look a little more deeper into the layer manager. Okay, if we open our ocean color product, display the chlorophyll band. Okay, we throw a lat long grid onto this data. We see again this is in sensor projection. The data has not been georectified to a map projection, so it's distorted by the rotation of the Earth underneath the satellite as it moves through its polar orbit. Okay, this grid, however, shows up as a new item in the layer manager. Okay, and like any layer, I can hide it by unchecking it, just as I can hide the data layer and leave the grid layer. Okay, but the layer manager has its own set of tools. So for whatever layer I'm looking at, I can use these tools to manipulate it. They're actually, the layers are actually, they have an order, one's on top of another, so you can actually change that with these arrows and move things behind each other as you add layers. But the one I really want to focus in on is this little pencil tool that allows me to edit this layer that I've highlighted. So I've highlighted the Gridlines layer. I click this, and now I have a dialog window showing me all sorts of parameters for the controlling the appearance of the lat long grid. For example, maybe I want a much larger font size for my degrees and in the labeling. So I just simply change that, hit enter or tab to the next field, um, and the change is made. Okay, I notice maybe I want, these are currently 5 degrees. I could, overdo it and make those 1 degree um, labels for both lat and long. Rather busy there. I can change colors for fonts, tick marks, grid lines, and so on. So if I make my grid some other color, clicking here for a palette of preset colors, I can make the grid some other color that may be hard to see, but you get the idea. That I can change the color. I can set the grid line thickness. So if I change this to something much larger up here, then these are drawn much larger. Okay, so you have a great deal of control. I can turn labels on and off on each side of the plot of the image, but it's just a layer. It's got a layer editor dialog for that particular layer, okay, to modify things. Let's go a step further. Let's maybe clean this back up a little. We will bring this back to 0 just to get rid of some of those, okay. Let's add contours. So I'm going to use this button here, okay, which adds contour lines, and I'm simply going to take the default values and add about 5 contour levels. Click OK, and they will be drawn in, okay. So with those drawn, I can go back to, well, and notice now that there are 5 new layers in the layer manager, one for each contour level, okay. And as I show and hide them, they appear on the right. I can pick any one of those, for example, and edit it. It's a layer, okay. Maybe that one I want to stroke in a different color, so I click here and get my little palette. I'll make it some sort of light color, perhaps the yellow here, right? I can make that a thicker line with a stroke width, okay? Exaggerate that maybe even more, all right? So I have control over the appearance of each layer through its own individual layer editor dialog. And notice, because contour lines are individual layers, I'm going to have to pick another one to edit its appearance, okay? That's got some advantage and some disadvantages to it. But again, I just wanted to show you that for any layer that appears in your image as you build things up, you can come into the Layer Manager here, use its toolbar to select one and edit it and get a dialog that's controlling its appearance. Okay, that's all for now. See you in the next video.